Bird Island, Baffin Bay, new boat, Gulf Coast 20 with Captain Doug. You have to know Baffin Bay. It has a lot of things going on under the water, a lot of underwater obstructions. We need to get into the strike zones. In this episode, watch and you will learn about structure types, baits, and tips on using the rod for different species. We're going to be running skinny today. Will a big boat like this work in the shallow waters? Let's find out. Today, Doug and I are using live shrimp, size 5 Mustad croaker style hook, about a 3-foot leader here, split shot to hold it down so the casts don't get winded up too much, a cork with green and orange, and 40-pound braided line, and a spinning reel. And so basically a cast with this type of equipment kind of work the wind. The wind's blowing this direction, so I'm going to cast over the island and get it to kind of drape across and land in what I call the strike zone. So hopefully we'll catch some fish today. I've got my bait in a little pocket here. Little horseshoe-shaped barrier island. And fish will work the perimeter. And you pop it like that to simulate a fish turning hard and feeding. So fish will hear that. They'll hear that, and they're very inquisitive, and they'll come in to investigate. Oh yeah, good fish. Rod bending action on the Gulf Coast. Woohoo! Gulf Coast 20. And what happened, I cast it out there, and I thought I was hung on the reef because there's these reefs that are exposed, like this little island right here. And I thought, I'm gonna have to pop it off that reef. But no, it's Mr. Fish, staying down too. Oh, look at that.
On today's episode of Wide Open Outdoor Adventures, we caught 5 different species of game fish. That's why I love to fish saltwater. Let's talk about each of these species. The sheepshead is a member of the porgy or sea bream family. They are an inshore species and are commonly found around oyster bars, sea walls, and in tidal creeks. You can also find them in nearshore coastal waters, bays, sounds, estuaries, brackish waters, and mangroves. The sheepshead are one of the best for food quality because of their shellfish diet. Its human-like teeth make them very unique.
Okay, here we go. Fish on.
Throughout this episode, we talk about species, habitats, and migration. Do you have some tips about a specific species or fish behavior? Comment below.
Little fish. He's getting bigger.
Doug's got some rod bending action.
Oh, look like a big old drum.
Is he coming
Good
up?
eating size.
Need the net, Doug?
I believe I'll just land him with that.
Doug just caught this
Thanks,
nice
so.
eaten size black drum. Let's talk a little bit about the difference. The sheephead, which we caught a few minutes ago, has more canine-like teeth, and they don't have the barbells like this. See the little barbells that hang down? This is a black drum. The other was a sheephead.
Black drum are the largest of all of the drum family, with some specimens reaching in excess of 90 pounds. The world record, black drum, is just over 113 pounds. They're often black or gray in color, and juvenile fish have distinctive dark stripes over their gray body. Their teeth are rounded and they have powerful jaws, capable of crushing oysters and other shellfish. You can identify them by their chin barbells. They can be found from the Delaware Bay to the Florida coasts, but they're most abundant along our Texas coasts.
Oh, there we go. Fish on again. See what we got.
Doug, you were right up under that structure.
Oh yeah, structure. That's what it takes.
I'm gonna move.
See what we got here.
Staying down.
Flounder, and it's a keeper flounder.
All right, let me get the net.
They love that structure.
Flounder are in a group of flatfish species. They are a demersal fish found at the bottom of oceans around the world. As an adult, a flounder changes its habits and camouflages itself by lying on the bottom of the ocean floor. They feed from there, and they use this position as protection against predators. Flounder ambush their prey, feeding at soft, muddy areas of the sea bottom near bridge piles, docks, and coral reefs. They are an amazing fish.
Now over here on Rocky Slough, one of my favorite areas. Rod bending action on this episode of Wide Open Outdoor Adventures. That's a better fish. It's because he's a redfish. I thought he was a trout because it's a pretty good trout. He's not going to make 20, which is the minimum size, but
Here's a short story about how the show got started, the people and friends who made it possible, and the adventures that we've been on.
you know, people ask me all the time, how did you get into having a hunt and fishing show? And it's not something I thought as a kid. You know, I always want to be on TV. Never really. It was just kind of a quirky deal. I had a great friend and he brought a video camera and we videoed each other catching redfish in East Flats. And we left out of Port Aransas and we kind of had fun doing it. I was hamming it up and somebody saw it and said, man, you know, you could do something with that. And one thing led to another, and now I'm the host of Wide Open Outdoor Adventures. You know, we started out as Inshore Fishing with Super Dave. That was the name of our show. And then we changed it to Dave's Outdoor Adventures. And then it just realized it's not about me, it's about the people I go see. It's about the places I met. It's about the world we are in. We've been to Alaska, Canada, Honduras. We've been to St. Bart's. We've been to other places in the Caribbean like Turks and Caicos. And we've got more ahead of us. So I've been really blessed. I have an amazing group of friends. And I love the wide open outdoors. And that's where I'll see you next week. Oh, there's a fish. Looks like a pretty good trout. Oh, look how green he is. Look at this fish. Oh, he's gonna shake that hook. Come on, buddy. Oh, beautiful, beautiful speckled trout. Look how green he is. I tell you, this fish has been feeding down in the grass. And he's old yellowmouth and had a shrimp under a popping cork. I can feel him.
Speckled trout or sea trout can be found inshore and nearshore, in and around seagrass meadows, mangrove-fringed shorelines, deep holes, channels, and above oyster bars. Trout are very delicate, so return unwanted fish promptly and gently to the water. Spotted sea trout are excellent eating. However, contrary to its name, the spotted sea trout is not a member of the trout family, but of the drum family.
Fish on!
Fish on, buddy. Fish on. Run, baby, run.
Oh, I think
The
he's got,
redfish.
I think he's crossed with my
Cross
line.
your line. I'm coming under you, buddy.
Okay,
You hold still. I got it.
roger that.
Get out of that motor, buddy. Get out of that motor. Ooh, he knows where to go, doesn't he?
Turn him, Doug.
I'm having. I can't turn him. He's got to go where he wants to
Go and around we go.
Here we go. Catch him on cut menhaden.
Well, Doug and I moved into another area. The flats really didn't produce fish. We got one good bite. Fish was by the boat. He spit the hook. We went through a lot more bait there. So now we're switching to menhaden. Menhaden are small little fish. They're very oily. You essentially cut them in half.
And you put the hook right here in the top of the body, at least I like to, and pull it through. So that's essentially the setup right here with the Menhaden. I got it rigged Carolina, so I have a pretty heavy duty egg weight here, up my braided line, a swivel, and then 40-pound monofilament leader down to my bait. And what essentially you do here, since this is sunray, and we're close to dagger, is we cast toward the shoreline and we find the sandy zones, the light colored, that's where we want the bait. So I'll put this one out as far from the boat as I can in the sandy zone, let that line out, close the bail, put this in a rod holder, and do the same with the second rod. Doug's putting 2 rods out, so am I. So we're fishing on the bottom with egg weights, holding them down. Hopefully we'll catch some better fish here. I'll put this bait out, my line's getting slack. I'm gonna set the hook. Oh yeah, good fish. Rod bend in action on this episode of Wide Open Outdoor Adventures. This is what we came for. Ah, good redfish. We just moved into this area. The flats on the other side weren't producing great fish. I think it's a red, but you know, over here in the saltwater world, it could be a black drum, could be something else. But I got rod bend in action. Oh yeah, good redfish. I can see him now. I got color. Oh, he's making a run. Woohoo! I got that drag set just right. I want him to run. Oh, this is a good fish. Look at him there, making another run. Awesome. Awesome redfish. There he is. Oh, he's getting tired now. Woo-wee. Carolina rig.
Red drum are also known as channel bass, redfish, spot-tail bass, or simply redfish. They are found in the Atlantic Ocean from Massachusetts to Florida, and in the Gulf of Mexico from Florida to northern Mexico. Red drum are a dark red color on their back, which fades to white on their belly. The red drum have a characteristic eye spot near their tail, and they are a streamlined fish. At 3 years old, red drum typically weigh 7 pounds. When they're over 27 inches, they're called bull reds. The largest red drum on record weighed just over 94 pounds, and it was caught in 1984 on Hatteras Island. The red drum is my personal favorite game fish.
Look at there, Dave. Another great red, man.
I tell you, we're having fun catching fish.
Catch some good ones too.
Oh yeah. So we're working this little complex of barrier islands, the drop-offs, the shallower areas, and then the deeper 6-foot water that goes for miles out here, picking up redfish.
Wow, 5 species today. Man, rod bend in action, and I learned a lot from the bay today. Let us know what you learned in the comments below. More rod bending action is coming your way on this next hot fishing video. Just get you some.